Chapter 52. Malumbra. They didn't have long, and they knew it. The witches would be upon their allies soon, and they had to move, finding some sort of balance between moving quickly and quietly. Fortunately, the bog was full of sounds which covered their travel. Many underestimated the true fatal nature of surprise. Witches could use death curses, they could summon up familiars or launch volleys of hexes. The witches could even transform and make flight by turning into some fast-moving animal for a short time. There were many things witches could do, unless, of course, they were caught by surprise. With a black blade in their chest and throat, there would be no death curse, there would be no cry for help. They would call no familiars. They would simply die there and then, like any other animal that needed to be put down. Kenson was the most comfortable moving through the bog, often motioning to what he thought were wards or familiars. Rather than kill the familiars, they let them pass and go towards the clearing to face Augustana and company. It was as if they were willing to sacrifice the bulk of their forces for this one chance. Yet it was not a sacrifice any were willing to make, least of all Meredith. He quietly told himself that this was exactly what was needed. This was how they would strike against the witches from behind their protectors. He knew it to be so, but it still felt terrible to leave the battle to those who would barely be able to hold back the massive numbers thrown at them. Darius listened as the booming voice of Malumbra spoke. "Hear me, mortals! You stand on the edge of oblivion. You hearken your deaths and tested your blades against the covens. You've known your victories, and now you shall know the grand coven. Those of you who seek to flee, we will allow 3 to return to their homes to tell the story of the men who perished in the bog. Witness and observe, for death awaits you." Darius frowned, but that told him the way to go. He hurried as the voice spoke. He got closer and closer, using the announcement as cover for his steps. Armor was difficult to move in, and even worse to attempt to stay hidden in shadows. He had to make use of whatever openings he could. Then he found what he was after. The strike force was behind the witches' main line, all fixated on the now marching armies they began to let out whoops and cries of their assumed victory. The strike force managed to stay hidden for now, making use of the cover and making use of the anti-magic weaponry to avoid detection. If the witches were truly looking for them, they might find a blind spot in their scrying spells, but it was difficult to notice unless you were deliberately looking out for nothing to detect. They began to chant together in an effort to create a storm. They began to dance and chant to their artifacts. The magic power of the area was undeniable. Malumbra did not join them. Her gaze was fixed upon the small bastion of men that held their own. She readied her own attack, closing her eyes and opening up portals of otherworldly beasts to be upon the unsuspecting camp. Darius gave the hand signal, and the 12+ men with black blades crept out of the shadows. They went for witches that chanted with closed eyes. Kenson slit the throat of those who were drawing circles in the ground in perfect silence. Darius himself gripped the mouth of the unsuspecting witch and cut into her neck, letting her die near instantly. He fled the body as he let it fall. His sudden and clank of armor drew attention to him. The struggles of the witch surely would be noticed. As the body fell, attention went to the now dying witch. Meredith flung a blade into the throat of a witch that was about to call for help upon seeing them. He cut into another chanting witch. Luckily, there were so many witches in chaos that it was easy to catch many off guard. This would not work long, but they needed a little longer. Spells were cast at Darius, who seemed to draw focus away from others. It wasn't that he chose not to be stealthy, it's that he couldn't be. However, they were still able to eliminate small squads of witches without drawing the main force's attention. Moving from place to place, they wouldn't have even a minute to act. They cut down 12 witches, then 24, then 36. At last a witch cried out with a booming voice loud enough to break the witch's focus. "The intruders are upon us!" Scipio loosed an arrow into her chest, then another, and then another. The silver burned into her chest. She lacked the ability to let out a curse as the silver burned her insides. Further, she couldn't find a target before her life left her. The Grand Matron turned her body and began to walk in their direction, spotting the interlopers. Malumbra fixed her gaze upon Darius, her eyes easily observing him in the darkness of the bog, her eyes catching every detail despite the blackened sky. "Continue the ritual. We shall make quick work of the heretics." Darius ran towards her, throwing a blade on the drawn circle where the witches worked, interrupting their spell for a time. He had hoped to stop the storm, but it made no noticeable difference to him. Hopefully the mages were not going to let the witches keep casting. The blade forced many witches to scramble and attempt to remove it from their magical circle. Those foolish enough to touch it screamed in pain, and their attempts to use magic on the blade to remove it were in vain. Melumbra extended a finger towards the blade while she walked towards Darius. A tentacle stretched from her finger and opened a mouth that bit into the blade, pulling it out of the ritual. Darius called out to Melumbra, "What do you know of these weapons? Of Black Maw?" A giant bat came crashing to the ground before he reached Melumbra, the blind one. The giant bat was upon them once again. Alyssa was hurt, but she seemed to be able to still control her bats. Darius blocked the blind one as Melumbra spoke. "You have taken weapons from the resting place of a fallen great one, who burned into ash by the fires of creation, a mighty god who still burns above us, but he too will be devoured by the void. He too will return to nothing. The weapons you forged were not meant for your kind. The remains of the weapons you yield cry out to return to the resting place." Darius jumped back and avoided several slashes from the blind one. That one was a problem. Then, almost as if taking the perfect opportunity to strike, a great arrow struck Alyssa in the chest. She did not die, but the blind one went berserk. Sven the Jackal dropped his crossbow and charged the bat with a silver-coated longsword. Darius did not join him in combat with the blind one. No, he had a far more valuable target to remove from the coven. Melumbra herself. Darius came at her with focus, and the witch launched a volley of tentacles out of the many openings in her body to the void. Portals of the otherworldly sort opened around them, creating tears in the very reality they lived. Creatures of unspeakable form came out. Some slit down the middle as if their bodies barely held together by sinew which held two pieces of themselves together. Others shot out shrapnel of teeth, and eyes sprayed unusual dark fluid about. The only constant was their horrific nature, teeth, eyes, and tendrils. Darius did not focus on the monsters. He moved around them, running himself through the portals. His armor was thick with nephelite, and it purged the stability of portals. Even if the Void Witch had otherworldly powers, it was still magic of this world to open portals. Her magic. He could destroy them with his black steel. As he destroyed a portal, he chopped a witch's head clean off as it was in the midst of a ritual. Melumbra spoke. "With my people and those I called family I felt nothing. Now I truly feel nothing. Why fight when all becomes nothing eventually? Your resistance is but a child running away from the dark." She seemed to look at her void patches as she thought of her family, and smiled. Sven battled with the blind one, making heavy blows against the creature and attempting to cut the wings off the beast. He succeeded, and it seemed that the bat was not regenerating this time. Alyssa was injured and passed out from blood loss. Meredith chopped at the blind one before a wrap of thorns went around the ritual-casting witch. A circle of strange plant life created a dome around the casters. It was all sorts of organic roots, thorns, and woods. The Witch of Thorns attempted to cast binding magic on Sven, but her binding magic was cut short by Meredith running between her and her target. His black blade split her hex before it could connect. Nori shifted her focus to Meredith, calling out beasts made of roots and flowers. She was no doubt responsible for the moss golems and dire beasts. They seemed like chimeras, held together by some binding magic. Meredith cut into the beast, and his black blades were of course effective against magically created beings. But Nori took note of this and cried out to her coven, "Their weapons will not stop objects. Use your magic to throw trees or stone at them if you must. Hex the things around them. Do not try your magic against them directly." Darius ran through another portal and destroyed it as if tackling through glass. It shattered as he ran through. Melumbra launched tentacles and other beasts began to surround her. She could use them as meat shields, and it was no surprise she did. He could not find a clear shot to launch his blades at her, yet he could not leave the portals unattended either. He ran through yet another portal before going for something entirely different from Melumbra. He went straight for the now protected ritual. He slashed his blade into the thorn dome and kept running through it. The thorns instantly died and withered in some cases, falling without so much as a slash. When the opening was large enough, Darius hopped in the dome. Melumbra let out a cry, "No!" then sent her beasts after Darius. He would slaughter her sisters unprotected, and slaughter them he did. Before her beasts could reach her, he killed as many as 9 witches with quick chops to their heads. His armor alone disrupted their ritual and weakened the witches that got too close. Melumbra knew it for certain now. This man was their commander. If she could but fell him, then the others would lack leadership. She called out to the void and many portals opened up. She decided to steal his tactic, using the fact he left her unattended to focus on his own men. "Rend and tear, little ones," she said to the otherworldly beasts that seemed to cry out with glee. The men who were busy with witches had trouble with the outsider attack. Their weapons could hurt them, sure, but they were not weakened at all by the anti-magical effect. It simply did not work on them. Some of the brighter members of the group stuck their blades into the portals, causing them to shrink and crack. Meredith tossed a black blade near one when he had a free moment, but Norai was now using her moss golems to chuck trees and boulders at him. He had to get closer to her. Or did he? He realized now what he had to do. Darius was ending the ritual and Melumbra was letting her minions attack all those around her. He had one spare throwing knife. He might have kissed it if it weren't covered with witch blood and dark dust melted down. With practiced precision he threw the blade to Melumbra. It flew as expected towards her abdomen. She didn't see it coming either. It hit, but the damage was nothing significant. The portal on her body would have simply sent the blade through her if it were not the black steel. Melumbra shifted her gaze to Meredith. The wound was nothing great, and it seemed like it did little more than make her notice him. "You yet have a part to play in the grand tapestry," she told him, then launched a volley of tentacles out of all the open portals, both around him and on her body. The outsiders that did not have a portal near them seemed to warp away and implode upon themselves. Norai sent thorns against Meredith, hoping to hit him in the back while he was caught unaware. Then she caught a good look at Sven. Did he not have a black blade? He was in combat with the now berserk blind one. Perfect. An easy target. She readied her spell to grab at his legs and succeeded. He was pinned down and no one near him had a black blade to his rescue. But much to her surprise she did not feel victory, but felt instead a great deal of pain. Iron sunk deep into her. Behind her was Kenson, who did his traditional 2 iron blades to the kidneys and a silver blade to the throat. Then, to be certain, he took the iron blades back out and jabbed them into different portions of the neck, one on each side. The witch spat blood, unable to call out or make a death curse. Hate filled her, but her throat was collapsed completely. With her last bit of strength, she commanded the beasts to avenge her. If she could not have her death curse, she would make him pay in other ways. When she fell, Kenson did not have long to jump back before a boulder came crashing down. Then a tree trunk, then he moved quickly into the woods, escaping as best he could. The beasts followed him into the bog. It might not be that he would survive, but he fully intended to drive a great deal of forces away from the battle. The beasts had little chance of catching Kenson. He nodded to Meredith as he fled and wished Sven the best as he wrestled with the blind one, snarling like a dog. The black-bladed men, as they were ordered, raced through witches, killing the lesser witches who attempted to summon undead or other witch spawn. Darius's elite did not disappoint. They were now gaining distance, and the number of witches was dropping at every dozen seconds. Victory was within reach, but still Melumbra stood strong, and her outsiders were gaining in number. Meredith and Darius together now faced Melumbra, circling around her and destroying her portals little by little. "You cannot hide the fact that you've been marked by Hecate. Those you sire will be hers. Are you the one perhaps who interrupted my portals, then?" He was, and she knew it. Darius tackled through a portal and picked up a black blade he threw earlier. He needed to make use of it. The weapon was flung in the area of another portal. The one thing he had to admit was that this matron had more stamina than the last one. She opened those portals up with impunity. It was as if it cost her nothing to do it, but that was not so. Even knowing nothing about magic, Darius knew that she had limits. She might draw power from this void she spoke of, but she herself was still a mortal all the same. They were wearing her down, he just couldn't be sure how much. Meredith tried to get in a slice with his main weapon. She quickly bent herself and dodged, letting the portals on her body extend tentacles to pierce him. He dodged, but as she flipped and danced, more tentacles whipped out against him. Pressing off the floor with her hands, she rather nimbly flipped back to her feet. She bent herself towards Darius and sent a volley of tentacles at him as he broke yet another of her portals. He held his arms up around his face to let the armor take the bulk of the damage. Meredith came at her again, but much like the first time, she dodged using usual fighting styles. She crouched down on all fours and kicked off the ground with her hands. She dodged his blow and swung her leg to his chest. He took the kick and drove in a black dagger into her leg. That was before the spot he was kicked actually bit him. Mouths appeared on the opening on the black void that was on her body, and with gnashing teeth they drove themselves into muscle and ripped skin off. She might have done more if she had not had to block an arrow from Scipio. Melumbra did not act like she felt pain, but made certain not to take more damage than necessary. She attempted to finish him with a blast of void magic to the face while his sword could not protect him. Darius got in the way. The blast hit Darius, but it seemed his armor took the magical attack in full. Darius tackled into her, pinning her to the ground. Tentacles shot out from her, but not before he elbowed her hard in the face. The tentacles stabbed into his armor, and the force sent him tumbling away. She got up, but not before Meredith sent another black blade into her other leg. Where did he get that weapon? He had no throwing weapons on him. She inspected her chest to see that he pulled the black blade out that hit her earlier and used it again. Clever. She could see why Hecate liked him. She opened her palm and called both portals around him and sprayed at him with void rays of magic. They might well disintegrate him if they hit. She flipped herself to a handstand and twirled herself to face Darius. She did not seem to have trouble fighting upside down. Her arms made do as legs while her actual legs were injured. Tentacles could come out of her body to quickly spin her or press her a certain direction. Admittedly, it wasn't an orthodox method of fighting, but it was difficult to counter. From her legs came tentacles to strike at Darius, and standing on one hand she launched a ray of magic at him. The armor took the blow, but it slowed him down from getting closer. A scream of an outsider behind her revealed that Meredith must have made progress to her. She turned her body, and an eye poking out of her leg warned her that Meredith was coming in for the kill. She twirled her hand and extended out her injured legs, letting them spray out tentacles and magic from the void to him as she swirled around. She managed to hold both Darius and Meredith at bay. Getting close to her was difficult. They needed an opening. They both defended themselves, but the outsiders were getting close. Much to their surprise, a jackal came charging to them. Wounded and running at them almost on all fours, he was bent over so much. In his hand was one of the flung black blades that was left behind by a portal. He charged in and slammed the black weapon against Melumbra, only then to get blasted away by void magic. It was only a little, but it looked like it really hurt. That little bit of attention he grabbed was enough for Meredith and Darius both to press through the tentacles and stab her. Meredith stabbed her in the chest, and Meredith right through the neck. She should not have been able to talk, nor did the expression on her face seem shocked or scared, merely matter-of-factual. I will not curse you, as you merely return to me to the void, but know that in time that even you will hear the void's call. I pray you accept it and answer. Let my part have been played in the creation of the monument of non-existent. The grand tapestry will soon be admired by many. It was no death curse, but it felt like a strange warning. The portals closed, and the outsiders dispersed. Rather than curse Meredith, her eyes turned to Scipio. For Melumbra's final act, she did at last give a final curse to Scipio. You will die in obscurity, without grave or any to mourn you. He didn't even hear her say the words. Only Meredith heard it, but there was a chance Darius did as well, who was now busy barking orders to those around him, making no obvious sign or reaction to the death curse. Meredith looked to Scipio, who was blissfully ignorant of what just happened. By his own choice, he decided never to tell Scipio. After a moment of silence, the dark spots around her body spread until all of Melumbra was covered, and then she imploded upon herself. It seemed as if the area became a little lighter and a little brighter. Lightning in the distance struck again and again. Darius did not know if they were too late. He swore to himself and did his best to pick up Sven. The earth seemed to shake as the thunder struck. Even at the considerable distance away, it was enough to give pause to the battle-worn soldiers. Heads turned, and even witches gave uncertain glances to the flash in the distance. Was it over? Did they win? They knew not, but their lives were in jeopardy. The black-bladed men came at them with renewed ferocity, and few witches had the ability to counter them. Darius huffed a breath and then looked to Meredith. See if they survived. Take whoever is left and bring them here. We'll take a position here and then make ready to depart. It's over. Even if his men did not die, it was still over. They had come for what they intended to do, to strike a fierce blow to the Grand Coven. But Darius had no intention of leaving empty-handed. He intended to march whatever remained of his forces through the bog and to an elven outpost of considerable march away. He had perhaps hoped that the elves on the other end might provide some sort of transportation for the wounded. No, he doubted he'd receive any more aid than they promised. A quick transportation home they would provide, but he doubted they'd send elves out to the convenience of mortals. Darius observed Sven. He was hit very hard by witch magic. He seemed to be breathing, for now, but it was far beyond a typical wound. He may die, and he certainly was in no shape to carry himself. The jackal was heavy. He needed a cart to move him effectively. After some thought, he knew he wouldn't just be him. He always considered the need for carts, but there was no way to move them through the bog. He didn't bring any. But the witches might have some near some kind of road. Bog or not, there were trade routes that ran through the brush bog. From what he could tell of the map, the witches took shelter away from the roads, but they'd have some outposts near the roads to trade with travelers for grain or whatever they needed. No doubt they'd have carts there. That was it. He might be able to use the path from there to get the men home. He supposed his next move would depend on how many of his forces survived. If there were few, they should proceed on foot. Gods only knew how many injured he had. He expected the witches to attack, but he had hoped he could destroy them before such a ritual could be completed. That blast struck multiple times. Lightning was instant and would likely finish whatever defensive formation they took. He took steps over to Alyssa, who struggled to stay alive, and would be delighted to cast her death curse on Darius. By his eyes, she wasn't near death, but she had no doubt prepared something to curse him the moment her life ended. He approached and pulled out the knife from her. "You survived twice," Darius told her, almost impressed that the same person attacked him 3 times and lived. As a rule, Darius never was injured, or at least never in a noticeable way. He looked over the Bat Witch and considered her. "I'll let you live if you tell me where you keep horses and carts. I will even let you ride with us to Shing if you assist us leaving the bog without further death." Alyssa spat blood his direction, hitting his armor rather than his face. "You deserve to die. You think we're the monsters here? You are the murderer who chased us out of our homes and brought death to this bog." Darius didn't disagree, but he certainly wasn't sorry. When you kill a group of woodsmen, sometimes you'll pay the price. Death for death. I imagine we're very close to even. Even so, guide us to the horses and I'll let you live. If not, I'll slit your throat and leave you here to die. The choice is yours. If you do not know how to help me, I suppose I could just leave you here as well. If you say that you'll hunt me to the end of days, then I shall end you here and now without mercy, even if I doubt you could." Alyssa was ready to curse him again when she considered his offer. He was bargaining with a witch. How foolish! But it would benefit her, would it not? If she could but escape now, she could live. What did they want? Horses? Carts? Witches had no need of such things. Perhaps there was some sense in giving him what he asked for. "If we give you horses and carts, do you promise to leave the bog once you have them? They might not be horses, but there are many beasts that could serve the purpose. Carts we have in abundance, but if you take them, I want to be sure you'll leave." It was a bargain she was willing to make. The carts were taken from traders and unwary travelers. Darius clarified the bargain. "We will kill anyone who tries to get in our way. We will kill anyone who tries to chase us. If we are unsatisfied with the means to escape this place, then we will simply continue killing. If you offer us acceptable means of travel in all regards, then we will not kill you. Then and only then we will take our leave. The damage necessary has been done." There were some ways she could play with the bargain, but she decided it simply suited her needs to see them gone willingly. Putting an end to this conflict was in her interest. She whispered into a bat who then flew off. "I will see what the others say, but I doubt they will disagree. We have a bargain." Darius shook his head. "We do not. Not yet we don't. As for you, I shall spare you for the moment until we see what can be arranged." Darius was bargaining with witches, a foolish move. Perhaps he was confident his armor could protect him. Perhaps he just thought the deal was foolproof, which it wasn't, not entirely. Or perhaps he was willing to bet the witches would risk the danger and let the humans leave unmolested. Either way, he entertained the idea of bargaining with a witch. Darius lifted the woman up and carried her. As injured as she was, he doubted she would try anything. He waited for Meredith, who approached, and his face glad with victory. "They live," Meredith said. "The mages took control of the storm and used it against the Witchborn. The lightning electrocuted some, but it certainly wasn't the full force of the lightning. Those who were injured are getting some care, but very few lives were lost. By my count, we lost 2. Considering the circumstances, it's a miracle." Darius nodded. "Tell them to make their way here. We are going to take carts and beasts enough from the witches and make our escape through remnants of a road. We can take the road north to Quillen, and from there head to the nearby town of Kib. Kib will have the way home ready for us when we are there. Tell them to kill any that get in our way. Take this one as a prisoner, and use her to guide you to the place where we can find carts. If you suspect her of lying, kill her. But the mission is nearly over. We must secure our return home." Meredith took the girl and nodded. "Yeah, some of the injured will need to rest or would have trouble traveling long-term through the bog. Carts would cut down on the travel once we get out of this bog." Meredith also noted that Darius was not going with him. He further noted that the black steel specialists Darius brought with him were not present. Darius had plans. He took Alyssa and ran her as far away as possible, making assumptions on what Darius planned to do with himself and the other Black Blades. The bargain might have been real, but it was another distraction. The Black Blade users could move quickly, the injured could not. He intended to strike yet another blow at them before leaving. The deal was not made. Not yet. Darius stepped away into the bog after he was out of range of being heard by Alyssa. "With me, we marched to the Grand Coven's main camp. Those with Black Blades followed. If possible, we rescue Kenson, but our main objective is to secure a route for the main forces. Earn your pay. Let's move." The black steel wielders moved into the woods, no doubt destroying wards or making quick work of whatever forest guardians stood in their path. Scipio joined him and smiled under his mask. He had gathered up only a few arrows he loosed, but he would make do with what he had.